to another live stream, a Major League Baseball live stream for you tonight on this Sunday night. Cleveland and Atlanta, both teams have the early lead in their respective divisions. Cleveland leading the AL Central, Atlanta leading the NL East. Preview this game in just a moment. First of all, let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for looking over us, Lord, and please protect everyone involved tonight. Please keep everyone safe, and please continue to look over us and do your will among us, Lord, as we ask and pray this in your name. Amen. All right, Cleveland and Atlanta tonight. A little late going on. I wanted to catch the end of the Masters, so not going to have a whole lot of time to preview this. So actually, let's go right into the batting orders for tonight's game. For Cleveland, they will have, excuse me, let me pull this up. It might help. For Cleveland, Angel Martinez in left field will lead off. Chase DeLauder in right field hitting second. Jose Ramirez at third base batting third. Cleanup hitter is the catcher David Fry. David Fry behind the plate tonight, catching and hitting cleanup. Batting fifth and playing first base is Rhys Hoskins. DHing tonight and hitting sixth, Kyle Manzardo. Batting seventh is second baseman Juan Brito, playing second base and batting seventh. Batting eighth in center field, Daniel Schneemann, and batting ninth and hitting shortstop, Brian Rocchio. So Cleveland's batting order, once again, Martinez, DeLauder, Ramirez, Fry, Hoskins, Manzardo, Brito, Schneemann, and Rocchio. And on the mound tonight for the Braves is Chris Sale. Sale coming in with a 2-1 record, 3.94 ERA. Walked 5, struck out 16 in 16 innings so far this year. Has given up 3 home runs this year, but Sale does have that 2-1 record for Atlanta coming in. As we are set for the rubber game of this 3-game series between Cleveland and Atlanta. Teams have split the first 2 games in this series. Atlanta winning on Friday night 11-5. Cleveland getting the shutout yesterday in Atlanta 6-0. So we wrap up the series between these two teams in this one. As mentioned, both teams coming in 9-6. Early leaders in their respective divisions. Cleveland, the early lead in the AL Central. Atlanta, the early lead in the NL East. On a beautiful Sunday evening in Atlanta, Georgia. 82 degrees at first pitch from Truist Park. Umpiring crew tonight, John Tumpani behind the plate, Brennan Miller over at first base, Dexter Kelly at second base, and Chris Conroy, the umpire, over at third base. Cleveland up a half game in the AL Central on Minnesota. Braves up a game and a half on the Marlins in the NL East. The two teams that were supposed to threaten in the NL East, the Phillies and the Mets, off to a little bit of a slow start this year. So Atlanta's taken advantage of that, at least early on in the season. Again, obviously, a long way to go, just 15 games in. As the crowd still filing in on this Sunday evening in Atlanta, Georgia. Another game still ongoing in Kansas City. Top of the 7th inning. White Sox lead the Royals 6-5. Everything else has gone final. We'll run down the complete scoreboard as the night goes on. If you're a regular follower of me, I do want, and even if you're not, I want to apologize. Have not been on as much this week as I had hoped. The work schedule got a little hectic, so I did not jump on nearly this week like I wanted to, so apologies in advance for that, but hopefully can get back in the groove here. As with you in this one, we'll be looking to be back with you tomorrow night for another MLB live stream, Cubs and Phillies from Philadelphia. as we are just about set to get this one underway in Atlanta. With you on YouTube tonight at Sports Bonanza John. Also on Twitch with you tonight at Sport Guru John. No kick stream on this one tonight, as the Braves are going with their powder blue kind of throwback uniforms. The powder blue with the white lettering trimmed in red, as Chris Sale is completing his warm-up tosses here. Braves trying to, which they have done, put 2025 in the rearview mirror. A bad year last year for the Braves. Of course, Cleveland made that monumental comeback in the AL Central last year to win the division before bowing out in the playoffs to their division rival, Detroit. So Cleveland looks to make a little bit deeper run this year. Cleveland coming out in their black tops tonight with the red C. Red numerals trimmed in white. So it'll be Angel Martinez leading it off tonight for Cleveland. Martinez on the season, a .342 hitter, off to a pretty good start. A home run on the season. He's drove in 6. And the first pitch from Atlanta, and we are underway on this Sunday night. A first pitch swing by Martinez is into center, and on the run in center field, the catch made out there on one pitch. Dubon with the catch, and it will bring up Chase DeLauter, hitting .271, 5 home runs on the year for DeLauter. He's drove in 12. He is off to a red-hot start this year for Cleveland. Sales pitch to DeLauter. Ball 1. .991 OPS percentage for DeLauter. It's the 1-0 pitch to him. That is lined into right, and his red-hot start continues as DeLauter gets himself a 1-out single to right, and the batter will now be Jose Ramirez. Ramirez hitting just .175 to start the year. Couple homers, he's drove in 7. DeLauter the lead at first base, and the pitch on the way to Jose Ramirez. Inside corner, strike 1. Sale looks in and delivers the strike 1 pitch to Jose Ramirez. Swing and a miss. That's a foul tip, but nonetheless, it's 0-2 now on Jose Ramirez. .02 pitch on the way from Sale. Bounced foul. Ramirez will stay alive, 0-2. Another 0-2 pitch to Ramirez. Up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count on Ramirez. One-two pitch. On the ground and through into right field for a base hit. DeLauter rounding second, heading for third, throw offline, and DeLauter slides in safely. And Cleveland with runners at the corners with 2 outs. Runners at the corners with 1 out, excuse me. And that'll bring up the Cleveland catcher, David Fry. Fry coming in hitting 188 on the year. So an early scoring opportunity for Cleveland in this one. Throw over to first base, and Ramirez back in safely. Pitch from Sale to Fry, way off the plate, ball 1, and the throw down to second. Ramirez slides in safely and steals second base, so that gets a second runner in scoring position for Cleveland here in the top of the first inning. Great jump by Ramirez. One 0 pitch to Fry, right down the middle, strike 1. Comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Counts now 1-2 on Fry. Rhys Hoskins on deck for Cleveland. Comes the 1-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Strike 3. Fry couldn't hold up. And that's a big second out for Sale. And it'll bring up Rhys Hoskins with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Hoskins this year hitting .229. He's drove in 4 runs on the season. Sale's pitch to Hoskins, outside corner, strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch. Lifted foul, and Hoskins quickly in an 0-2 hole. Oh, 2 pitch misses a little inside. That will make the count now 1-2. One-two pitch on the way from Hoskins to Sale. To Hoskins from Sale, and that misses inside 2-2. Kyle Manzardo on deck. Two-two pitch on the way to Rhys Hoskins. Swing and a miss. He got him. Cleveland strands 2 in scoring position in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Braves coming up for the first time. So Sale gets out of a first inning jam unscathed. And here and now Atlanta will come up in the bottom of the first inning. They will send up this batting order. Ronald Acuna Jr. in right field leads it off for Atlanta. Batting second and catching is Drake Baldwin. Hitting third and playing first base, Matt Olson, cleanup hitter tonight for Atlanta, is third baseman Austin Riley. Batting fifth in left field, Mike Yastrzemski. In the number 6 spot is second baseman Ozzie Albies. Batting 7th and DHing tonight is Dominic Smith. Batting 8th and playing center field is Mauricio Dubon. And batting 9th and playing shortstop for the Braves is Jorge Mateo. So again, the Braves batting order: Acuna Jr., Baldwin, Olson, Riley, Yastrzemski, Albies, Smith, Dubon, and Mateo. And they will go up against the starting pitcher tonight for Cleveland, Tanner Bibee. Bibee on the season is 0-1, making his 4th start of the year. ERA of 3.29. Walked 5, struck out 14 and 13 and 2/3 innings so far this year for Bibee. As Ronald Acuna Jr. will be the leadoff batter here in the bottom of the 1st inning for Atlanta. First pitch, bottom of the 1st to Acuna, is inside for ball 1. Acuna on the year hitting at .224. A home run. He's drove in 4. 1-0 to Acuna's fouled back. That will even the count, a ball and a strike. One. That's hit foul right side, and now it's 1-2, the count on Acuna. One-two pitch. That is lined into center. That's going to be a base hit for Acuna to lead off the bottom of the 1st inning for Atlanta. So Acuna starts off the bottom of the 1st with the leadoff hit, and it'll bring up the number 2 hitter for the Braves, Drake Baldwin, the Braves catcher. Baldwin on the year hitting .328, 5 home runs. He's drove in 16. Braves leader in batting average, home runs, and RBIs so far on the year. Pitch to him is upstairs, ball 1. One-0 pitch. That hits the knees. Strike 1, a ball and a strike. One is hit foul. Counts now 1-2. Acuna, a short lead at first base. And now the throw over, and Acuna slides back in. Pitch is popped up. Foul territory. It is playable, and the catch made by Bibee for the 1st out. Bring up the number 3 hitter for Atlanta, Matt Olson. Olson this year hitting .281. He's got 4 home runs on the season. He's drove in 10. And the runner takes off, and the ball gets away, and that will allow Acuna to take third base. So that will be a stolen base and an error. Brito couldn't handle that throw. And Acuna's now at third base. 2-0 now the count on Matt Olson. Early scoring chance for the Braves. Olson pops it up on the infield. That's not going to get the job done. Who wants it? It's going to be the first baseman, it looks like. Hoskins that makes the catch. Acuna now standing at third now with 2 outs. And it brings up the cleanup hitter for Atlanta, Austin Riley. Hitting .212 on the season. Drove in 4 runs. Riley takes a strike. 0-1 the count on Austin Riley. Strike 1 pitch to Riley. A little outside. That'll even the count a ball and a strike. Comes the 1-1. Upstairs. 2-1 now the count. Two-one pitch. Hits the outside corner for strike 2. That'll even the count 2-2. Two. Swing and a miss. He got him. Riley strikes out. Acuna stranded at third. Both teams strand runners in scoring position in the first inning. 1 in the books in Atlanta. Cleveland, Atlanta, no score. So both teams had chances in that first inning, but come up empty. Braves will stay at home following this series and take on the Marlins, team just right behind them in the NL East standings right now. Cleveland will hit the road and head to St. Louis for a series that will start tomorrow. Other AL Central teams today. Tigers were victorious today. 8-2 winners over the Marlins. Team we're just talking about that Atlanta starts the series with tomorrow. White Sox are leading in Kansas City 6-5. That game in the top of the 8th inning. Twins won today in Toronto 8-2 over the Blue Jays. Other NL East teams in action today. Told you the Marlins losing to Detroit today, 8-2. So we are set to go here into the top half of the second inning. Cleveland will have Kyle Manzardo leading it off. Manzardo on the season hitting just 103 to start the year, 4 for 39. Does have a home run. He's drove in 2. Told you about those other NL East teams. Phillies losing today at home to Arizona 4-3. Mets losing at home 1-0 to the Athletics. First pitch, top 2, strike 1, and the Nationals winning in Milwaukee today 8-6. Former Steelers coach Mike Tomlin in the stands tonight in Atlanta, taking this one in. 0-1 pitch down low, a ball and a strike. One pitch to Manzardo. That's lifted foul left side. Counts now a ball and 2 strikes on Kyle Manzardo, leading it off in the Cleveland second. One-two pitch down low. Counts now even 2-2. Here comes the 2-2 from Sale to Manzardo. That's on the ground to third. That's going to be a tough play. Has to hurry. No, not in time. Manzardo beats it at first. Olsen had to reach for that one. And Manzardo has himself an infield single here in the top of the second. Just beating it on the replay. Riley did everything he could. He got rid of it right when he got the ball, but Manzardo legged it out and gets an infield single to start off the Cleveland second. And that will bring up the number 7 hitter, Juan Brito. And takes one on the outside corner. Brito's 5 for 14 on the season, 357 average. He's played in this now his 5th game of the season. Strike 1 pitch to Brito. Short lead at first base. That ball hits the mound and is fielded by short. Throw to second, one on to first, double play. That ball hit the mound, but was still fielded pretty easily by Mateo, the shortstop, who ended up turning an easy 6-4-3 double play. And just like that, the bases are now empty and 2 outs for Schneemann, the number 8 hitter for Cleveland. Daniel Schneemann on the season hitting 200. He's drove in 4 runs. This is a Cleveland team through 15 games has hit only 14 home runs, so they don't even average 1 home run hit a game. Ball 1 here to Schneemann. 1-0 pitch from Sale. Schneemann fouls it off first base side. That'll even the count, a ball and a strike. Schneemann steps back in and awaits Sale's 1-1 pitch. That is ripped into right field, and that's going to be off the wall. Played beautifully in right field. Schneemann into second, sliding in, is in there with a 2-out double. Schneemann legged out a double there because that was played off the wall perfectly by Acuna there in right field. But Schneemann with the speed, able to beat it out for a 2-out double. And it will bring up now Brian Rocchio. 186 hitter to start the year. He's got a home run. He's drove in 6. Another runner in scoring position. I mentioned Cleveland with only 14 home runs, vice versa. That is now their 29th double of the season. Schneemann, the runner at second with 2 outs. And the 1-0 pitch. That is lifted in the air to right. Acuna barely having to move out there. Makes the catch. And Cleveland squanders the 2-out double and leaves another runner in scoring position. Bottom of the second coming in. Atlanta still 0-0. Cleveland and Atlanta. Rubber game of this 3-game series between the two teams. Both teams come in at 9-6 in first place in their respective divisions early on in the season. Cleveland comes into this game with a half-game lead in the AL Central. Atlanta comes in with a game-and-a-half lead in the NL East. Braves were shut out last night 6-0 after winning Game 1 on Friday 11-5. And they will come up here in the bottom of the second with Mike Yastrzemski leading it off here in the bottom of the second inning. Yastrzemski starting off the season hitting 174. Drove in 3 runs on the year. So both these teams holding 9-6, as I mentioned. Right there, the old saying, if you're a baseball fan, you know what the old saying is. Still want to get off to a good start. You can't win a division in April, but you can lose a division in April. So you don't want to dig yourself too big of a hole to start the season. And the Braves, a nice bounce back from last year when, what was it, they started 0-8, 0-9 or something last year, and were up against it all year. But a much better start to this season for Atlanta, coming in 9-6. 5-3 so far at Truist Park this year. Cleveland 5-4 so far on the year away from Progressive Field. So here we go in the bottom of the second with Yastrzemski leading it all for Atlanta against Tanner Bybee. And a good crowd in Atlanta on an 82-degree Sunday evening. First pitch, bottom 2, way outside, ball 1. One-zero pitch. That's a high strike. Counts even a ball and a strike now on Yastrzemski. One swing and a miss by Yastrzemski. That will make the count now 1-2. One-two pitch upstairs. That will even the count 2-2. Bybee looks in and delivers the 2-2 to Yastrzemski. Popped up, foul territory. That'll reach the seats. And the count will stay 2-2. 2-2 misses, and that will fill the count now, 3-2. Two, 3-2, way high. That is ball 4. And Yastrzemski draws a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the second. And that will bring up Ozzie Albies. Albies hitting .271 on the year. 3 home runs for Albies. He's drove in 6. Pitch to Albies. Strike 1. Oh, beg your pardon. They called that a ball. That's a strike now, and that'll even the count a ball and a strike on Albies. 1-1 pitch from Bybee. Albies shows bunt, takes inside. White Sox and Royals are heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. White Sox clinging to a 6-5 lead over Kansas City. Two-one pitch. That is hit into right field and a fair ball. Yastrzemski had to hold it second to see if that ball was going to be actually caught. So it's a single for Albies. The first 2 Braves have reached here in the bottom of the second, and it will bring up the DH, Dominic Smith. Dominic Smith hitting .345 on the season, 2 home runs. He's drove in 8. First and second, nobody out for Atlanta. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Smith steps back in and awaits the 0-1 pitch. That is ripped down the right side, but foul. And Dominic Smith will now be in an 0-2 hole. .0-2 to Smith. Just missed 1 and 2 now the count on Dominic Smith. First and second, nobody out, so another scoring chance for the Braves here in the bottom of the second inning. Bybee looks and delivers the 1-2 pitch. That's outside, and that'll even the count 2-2. Two-two now on the way from Bybee to Dominic Smith. That's down low, and a nice battle back here. Smith has come back from an 0-2 down to fill the count now, 3-2. Payoff pitch. Smith on the ground to second. The throw to second, one on to first, double play. 4-6-3 double play. It does advance Yastrzemski to third, but there are now 2 outs. Mauricio Dubon, the number 8 hitter, steps up for Atlanta. Hitting .321 on the year, a couple home runs. He's drove in 9. Yastrzemski, the runner at third, 2 outs. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Strike 1 pitch. Outside, that'll even the count, a ball and a strike. One pitch on the way. Right down the middle, strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes. One-two from Bybee. In the air to left center field on the run and unable to get it and one hopping the wall. That will score Yastrzemski. RBI double for Dubon, and the Braves strike first tonight. It's 1-0 here in the bottom of the second inning. That was hit right there in the gap in left center field. Martinez made a run on it but couldn't catch up to it. And an RBI double by Dubon scores Yastrzemski and the first run tonight. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Jorge Mateo. Mateo hitting .273 on the year. He's got a home run. And that's a little low, ball 1. Bybee looks in and delivers the 1-0 pitch. Strike 1. Counts even, a ball and a strike. One pitch to Mateo. Outside, strike 2. Outside corner, I should say. A ball and 2 strikes. Now the count on Mateo. It's like Mateo's challenging that call for our first ABS challenge of the night, and it is indeed a strike. So Atlanta will lose one of their ABS challenges. They have 1 remaining. Here's the 1-2 pitch. On the ground, foul. Count stays 1-2. It's been a lot of mixed reaction amongst baseball fans so far on that ABS challenge system. One-two pitch. Downstairs, 2-2. Two-two pitch. Outside, that'll fill the count, 3-2. It has now gone final in Kansas City. The White Sox have held on to beat the Royals 6-5. So everything across the league is now final. on this Sunday. 3-2 payoff pitch is popped foul. Will it stay in play? It will not. And the count remains 3-2. Be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Mateo here from Bybee. And another foul ball. We'll now have the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Bybee's pitch count is already at 45, and he's not even through 2 full innings yet. Here comes another 3-2. And another foul ball. What a battle this is between Bybee and Mateo. That ball went right into the camera well there, third base side. Showing the replay here. Look out. I think everybody got out of that unscathed. 10th pitch of the at-bat from Bybee to Mateo is up the middle for a base hit. Mateo wins the battle, rounding third and scoring on an RBI single by Mateo is Dubon. It's 2-0 Atlanta here in the bottom of the second. So a 10-pitch at-bat finally won by Mateo as he drives in Dubon to make it 2-0. And that'll bring us back to the top of the order, Ronald Acuna Jr. And now a meeting on the mound here. Pitching coach Carl Willis making his way out to the mound to have a chat with Bybee, as is the Cleveland infield. And the pitch to Acuna misses for ball 1. One-zero pitch. Rip to left. That's going to be a base hit. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Mateo rounding third and scoring all the way from first on an RBI double by Acuna. And this is a big second inning for the Braves as it's now 3-0. And it will bring up Baldwin. So Acuna 2 for 2 in this game. Get the feeling that Bybee is not going to be long for this game for Cleveland, as he is about to throw his 50th pitch in the second inning, and it is ball 1 to Drake Baldwin. Popped out his first time last inning. One-zero pitch. That is lifted in the air to center. This looks like it's finally going to get Cleveland out of the inning, and it will as Schneemann makes the catch. But Atlanta scores 3 in the bottom of the second and leads it 3-0 as we head to the third in suburban Atlanta, Georgia on a Sunday evening. Hey, suburban Atlanta, Georgia, Truist Park, the home of the Braves, now in its 9th year. It opened back in 2017. In the, if you know Atlanta, located in the Battery District up there, Cumberland County. New little entertainment, do I say new? It's not really new anymore, but that entertainment district there. I was sorry to see them get rid of Turner Field, but that is Truist Park. I've never been there, but that looks like a phenomenal, phenomenal ballpark. They're in Cumberland County, Georgia. Been through Atlanta one time. That's been about, probably 10 years ago when I drove through Atlanta, and, well, let's just say that traffic down there I was not a big fan of the traffic down there. So Cleveland coming to bat here in the third inning, now trailing 3-0. Be the top of the order, Martinez to lead off for Cleveland. As dusk starting to settle. First pitch, top of the third, as Sale now works with the lead. Strike 1 to Martinez. Oh, 1 pitch is popped up on the infield. Second baseman Albies under it makes the catch for the first out, and it will bring up the rookie DeLauder. Pitch to DeLauder. Boy, that shattered his bat. And that's going to be called a foul ball. Boy, that bat just disintegrated when DeLauder hit that ball. It's a foul ball. And there's pieces of the bat all over the place there on the field. I mean, that thing just absolutely disintegrated. Hmm. A 1 pitch misses low and inside. That'll even the count a ball and a strike. One pitch. That's right there at the knees. Strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes now. On DeLauder. One-two pitch is low. Counts now even 2-2. 2-2. Just missed. Full count, and it looks like we're going to have an Atlanta challenge, ABS challenge on that call. It's called a ball, and on the replay, it is a ball. So the call will stand. So both teams have lost an ABS challenge, so both teams have one remaining. I beg your pardon, excuse me. Correction on that ABS challenge. Atlanta used one earlier at the plate. Cleveland has not used one, so actually Atlanta is now out of ABS challenges. I was thinking Cleveland used one before, but it was Atlanta when they were at the plate. So Atlanta cannot challenge a ball strike again for the rest of this game. Here's the payoff pitch. Ball 4. And again, Atlanta can't challenge it. So a 1-out walk to DeLauder. That did look a hair outside. And here's Jose Ramirez. DeLauder, who's making an early push for American League Rookie of the Year on base once again. He gets the lead at first. Swing and a miss by Ramirez. He was swinging for the fence on that one. Ramirez singled back in the first and stole a base, but got stranded in scoring position. Here's the strike one pitch. Ramirez gets a little under this one and sends it into center field. And drop the ball. Dubon dropped the ball. They get the force out at second base as DeLauder was sliding in. So they end up getting it out on the play anyway. I don't know if Dubon lost that in the lights or what, but he just flat dropped that ball. But luckily for him, there was only 1 out, and DeLauder had to wait to take off from first base. And they do end up getting the force out at second, so there's not going to be an error on that play. It's just going to be a fielder's choice, but yikes. And he was making the motion that he did lose that in the lights. So here's Fry with a runner at first and 2 outs, and the throw over to first. Sliding back in is Ramirez. Those lights, those lights, when it gets to about the dusk hour, they can be a little treacherous and a little tricky to try to field a ball. There's another throw over to first. That ball hit his glove and it just bounced out. That's foul ball for strike 1 to Fry. Strike 1 pitch. Strike 2. Counts now 0-2 on Fry. Runner at first, 2 outs for Cleveland here in the third, down 3-0. There goes Ramirez from first, and that ball's lined into left center field for a base hit. Ramirez will head to third. It'll be runners at the corners with 2 outs. That's the 5th hit for Cleveland, but they have yet to push a run across. And Rhys Hoskins will be the batter with runners at the corners and 2 outs. Hoskins, a strikeout victim his first time against Chris Sale. Comes up as the tying run. Hoskins fouls it off for strike one. Sale looks over at first and delivers the 0-1. That's downstairs, a ball and a strike. Rhys Hoskins in his first year with Cleveland, after spending the last couple seasons in Milwaukee. Hawkins takes a strike. One and two, the count on Rhys Hoskins. One, two, upstairs. Counts even 2-2. Two, misses. Counts now full 3-2. So Fry will be off from first base on the pitch. And here comes the 3-2 payoff. On the ground to short. And the throw over to first in time. And for the third time in as many innings, Cleveland strands a runner in scoring position. They do not score. We head to the bottom of the third, 3-0 Atlanta. Braves will have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up: Olsen, Riley, and Yastrzemski here in the bottom of the third inning. Cleveland has stranded 5 base runners through the first 3 innings, so they've had their chances, just have not been able to get anybody across. Do have a little bit of sad news to report from MLB today. Former All-Star and player on the 1979 Pittsburgh Pirates World Series team, Phil Garner, passed away at the age of 76. Passed away yesterday. He was dealing with pancreatic cancer the last couple years. Phil Garner passes away at age 76. Had a 16-year career when I was growing up watching baseball. I remember him as a Houston Astro. Back there in the early and mid-'80s. Phil Garner mentioned he was on the World Series winning Pittsburgh Pirates team back in 1979. So Phil Garner passes away yesterday at the age of 76. So here we go, the bottom of the third inning. It is 3-0 Atlanta over Cleveland. It'll be Matt Olson to lead it off in the bottom of the third for Atlanta. First pitch, bottom 3. Bybee back out on the mound, 51 pitches through 3 innings and a strike to lead off the bottom of the third. Sale has thrown 49 in 3 innings for Atlanta. Strike one pitch is outside. A ball and a strike now on Matt Olson. It's the 1-1. That is popped up on the infield. Bybee now being called off by Ramirez, who makes the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the third. And it will bring up Austin Riley. Riley, a strikeout victim his first time up against Bybee. Pitch from Bybee. That ball hammered foul. Strike one on Austin Riley. Oh, 1 pitch. That pitch misses outside. Ball and a strike. One pitch. Check swing, no swing. According to the first base umpire, Brandon Miller. 2-1 now the count. 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. That'll even the count, 2-2. Two, that's up and in, and that will fill the count. 3-2 now on Austin Riley. Comes the payoff pitch. Called strike 3. Riley looks at it. And that's a strikeout. Brings up Mike Yastrzemski. Pitch to Yastrzemski, strike 1. Yastrzemski drew a walk his first time up. Oh, 1 is foul, and now Yastrzemski's in an 0-2 hole. Scored one of the 3 Atlanta runs last inning. Oh, 2 is foul. Count will stay 0-2 on Yastrzemski. Oh, 2 pitch to Yastrzemski from Bybee. Swing and a miss. He got him. And Bybee with a 1-2-3 bottom of the third inning. We head to the fourth. 3-0 Braves. Cleveland will have Manzardo, Brito, and Schneemann, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, due up here in the top of the fourth inning. Other sports news, watching the end of the Masters. That's why I was a little late jumping on here. And for the 4th time ever, We have a repeat winner at the Masters. Rory McIlroy wins by 1 shot over Scott Scheffler. So congratulations to Rory McIlroy. Again, tentative plan tomorrow night is to be back with you for another MLB stream, Cubs and Phillies from Philadelphia. That is a 6:40 first pitch. Be on somewhere between 6:30 and 6:35. Get you ready for the Cubs and the Phillies tomorrow from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Again, that's the tentative plan anyway for tomorrow. And we head to the top of the 4th inning here. It's going to be Kyle Manzardo to lead it off for Cleveland. Cleveland's managed 5 hits against Chris Sale through the first 3 innings, but haven't been able to push any runs across. They have left at least 1 runner in scoring position in each of the first 3 innings. First pitch, top of the 4th, strike 1. Manzardo singled back in the 2nd inning. The 0-1 pitch is outside. That'll even the count of ball and a strike. One pitch is low, 2-1 now. Two-one pitch. That's bounced to first. Easy play there. Underhand throw over to Sale covering. And there's the first out here in the top of the 4th inning. Brings up Brito. Brito 0 for 1 so far. Ball 1. One 0 pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1. One. There's a strike. 1 and 2. One-two pitch is hit foul. Brito stays alive. One-two pitch upstairs, and the count's now even 2-2. Comes the 2-2 to Brito from Sale. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Brito strikes out. Third strikeout for Chris Sale, and it will bring up Schneemann. Pitch to Schneemann is a strike down the middle, 0-1. Doubled back in the second inning, but was stranded. And there's another strike right down the middle. Counts now 0-2 on Schneemann. Oh, 2 pitch is outside, 1-2. The count on Schneemann. Here's the pitch. That is grounded to short. And a bobble. And Schneemann's going to reach base. See how they score that. There's a bobble there by Mateo, and he couldn't get it out of his glove, and Schneemann reaches. Ryan Rocchio will be the batter. Well, he looked like after he picked the ball up in his glove, when he went to pick it up is when the ball came loose out of his glove. They've scored that an infield hit. So Schneemann now 2 for 2 as Rocchio fouls that back for strike 1. Even if he makes that play, it would have been a tough play at first base. Even if he fields it cleanly. Here's the 0-1 pitch. A swing and a miss. Rocchio now down in the count 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 from Sale to Rocchio. That's down low. Did he swing? No. First base umpire Brennan Miller says no swing there. One-two pitch to Rocchio from Sale. Swing and a miss. He got him. Cleveland strands at least one runner on base for the 4th straight inning. They've now stranded 6 through 4 innings. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still 3-0 Atlanta. Braves will have 6, 7, and 8 due up Albies, Smith, and Dubon here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Already up 3-0. Running down a little bit of the MLB scoreboard for you today. Diamondbacks win in Philadelphia 4-3 today. Diamondbacks take 2 of 3 in that series over the Phillies. Orioles a 6-2 win over the Giants. Orioles take 2 of 3 in that one. Twins get a big win in Toronto today, 8-2 over the Blue Jays. To win that series, to win 2 out of 3 in that series. Angels win in Cincinnati today, 9-6. To take that series. Athletics beat the Mets 1-0 at Citi Field. That completes a 3-game sweep for the A's over the Mets. Tigers win today in Detroit 8-2 over the Marlins. Tigers get the 3-game sweep in that series. Rays beat the Yankees 5-4. At Tropicana Field, Rays get the sweep over the Yankees. So a lot of your teams that you're used to see, the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, they're struggling a little bit to start the year. Looks like the team to beat again is going to be the Dodgers, as they are off to a red-hot start trying to three-peat this season. And they definitely, at least through the first, 2.5 weeks of the season, looks like they are indeed going to be the team to beat again, as they are loaded once again. As here we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, Albies will lead it off against Tanner Bybee, and that is up and an outside for ball 1. One-0 pitch to Albies. That's outside. 2-0 now. As nightfall has fallen over Truist Park. Two-0 pitch. That is popped foul, and that will get out of play. Counts now 2-1. We'll run down the rest of the MLB scoreboard coming up at the next half inning. Albie singled his first time up in this game. That is on the ground and through into right center field for a base hit. Albie's now 2 for 2. And it will bring up Dominic Smith. Smith is 0 for 1. He hit into a double play his first time up. Here's the pitch. That is drilled. Deep right field to the wall, up, and it is gone. Dominic Smith with a 2-run home run to right extends the Braves' lead. It is now 5-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Wasn't sure if that had enough to get out, but it did. DeLauder gave it a look out there, but ran out of room. And Dominic Smith goes deep for the 3rd time this year. RBIs 9 and 10. I told you Cleveland as a team coming into this game has hit just 14 home runs, less than 1 home run a game. Vice versa, Atlanta coming into this game had 20 home runs, now 21 with that one. That's the 2nd most in baseball. Strike 1 to Dubon. Oh, 1 to Dubon. On the ground to third and bobbled at third base, and the throw to first still going to be in time to get Dubon. And the batter will be Jorge Mateo. Ball 1. They just had an ad break here mid-inning, and now they've got it up in the booth. This game's being, of course, Sunday Night Baseball, the new contract with NBC, so they're showing this game tonight. That is one of the largest double burgers I have ever seen in my life. There's a base hit for Mateo into right center. Looks like 2 burger patties. Mateo trying for second, and he is out. Trying to stretch that into a double. Up 5-0. You can afford to be a little bit aggressive like that, I guess. But Mateo gunned down, trying to stretch a single into a double. And Acuna will now step up with 2 outs and the bases empty. Anyway, they had this burger they were showing at one of the concession stands there at Truist Park. It's a double burger, and it had cheese and egg and some other stuff on it. That was one of the largest burgers I have ever seen. As that's hit to short. And that'll do it. I'm not a big fan of egg on my burgers, but that thing, wow. That Braves are done in the 4th, but they add a couple runs on the 2-run home run by Dominic Smith. We head to the 5th. 5-0 Atlanta. Cleveland will have the top of the order, Martinez, DeLauder, and Ramirez. Here in the top of the 5th inning, now in a 5-run hole at 5-0. It's not that Cleveland hasn't had any offense. They do have 6 hits through 4 innings, but unfortunately for Cleveland, they've also stranded 6 runners on base through 4 innings. Have not been able to get that big hit. So far 0 for 4 tonight with runners in scoring position. Running down some of the rest of the scoreboard, White Sox get the win in Kansas City, 6-5 over the Royals. White Sox avoid the sweep there. Nationals get the sweep in Milwaukee, 8-6 over the Brewers, and also in that game, Brewers were swept, but that's not the big story. Christian Yelich leaving that game with a hamstring injury. Had tightness in his left hamstring. Brewers manager Pat Murphy not expecting good news there, as the Brewers not only lost their 5th in a row, but now looks like they have lost Yelich, at least for the time being, with that hamstring injury. Red Sox win in St. Louis, 9-3. Red Sox take 2 of 3 over the Cardinals. Cubs come back and get a 7-6 win over the Pirates. Cubs trailed most of that game, and they come back to avoid the sweep at Wrigley by Pittsburgh. Padres a 7-2 win over the Rockies. Padres get the sweep of that series. Mariners 6-1 win over the Astros, as the Mariners get the sweep in that series. Rangers win at Dodger Stadium over the Dodgers 5-2. The final in that one to avoid the sweep by the Dodgers. 5-0 here as we head to the top of the 5th inning and the top of the order for Cleveland. Martinez to lead it off. He is 0 for 2 so far tonight. A 0-1 pitch to Martinez is in the air to center. Barely having to move out there is Dubon. He's the one that dropped the ball in center field earlier, but not this time as he squeezes this one for the first out. And DeLauder now will be the batter. Angel Martinez now 0 for 3. DeLauder 1 for 1 in this game. He's also reached on a walk. Sale about to throw a 70th pitch. If he can get through this 5th inning, he would be eligible to win this one. Try and get his 3rd win of the year. Ball 1 to DeLauder. One-0 pitch. That's at the knees for strike 1. 1-1 the count. One is a swing and a miss. 1-2. Now the count to DeLauder. One-two pitch hit foul. Count will stay 1-2 on Chase DeLauder. Jose Ramirez is on deck for Cleveland, trying to come back from this 5-run deficit here in the 5th inning. 1-2 pitch. That's hit foul. DeLauder staying alive here. One-two pitch. That is in the air. Deep right center field back, and this one is high off the wall in right center. And DeLauder will pull up at second with a 1-out double. And again, Cleveland with another runner in scoring position. And that will bring up Jose Ramirez. DeLauder's reached base all 3 times now tonight for Cleveland. He just missed a home run there as it hit high off that high wall in right center field. Pitch to Ramirez hits the outside corner for strike 1. Ramirez 1 for 2, singled in the 1st inning and stole a base. A 1 is hit foul. I need to make a correction on that. I said the Mariners won that game. I said that gave them a 3-game sweep. They actually play a 4th game of that series tomorrow afternoon. So it could be a 4-game sweep for Seattle if they can win that game tomorrow against Houston. It's one of those rare Friday to Monday series. 0-2 pitch is fouled back. Another 0-2 pitch to Ramirez coming from Sale. And that's another foul ball. That will stay in play, it looks like. Third baseman right there for the catch is Austin Riley for the 1st out. Now the cleanup hitter, Fry, with a runner at second and 2 outs. Outside, ball 1. Fry singled back in the 3rd inning. And if he doesn't get on here, Cleveland will strand a runner in scoring position yet again. That's a strike. Counts even 1-1 on Fry. One pitch. Upstairs, 2-1 now on Fry. And that's bounced foul. 2-2 pitch. Hit foul. This is a Cleveland team. We talk about this game. They've struggled to come up with the big hit a lot of times this year. They're hitting just .219 as a team entering this game tonight. 2-2 is foul. Comes another pitch. It's called strike 3. Cleveland done in the 5th. They strand a runner in scoring position yet again. They have stranded 7 men on base through 5 innings. We're halfway through this one. 5-0 Atlanta. Seven runners left on base, and at least, 5 of those have been in scoring position? It'll be Baldwin, Olsen, and Riley, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Atlanta, due up here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Tanner Bybee's at 74 pitches through 4 innings. Sale's thrown 86 through 5. Sale is eligible for the win now, going 5 innings. So bottom of the 5th inning we go. First pitch, ball 1. Baldwin's 0 for 2. He's popped out and flown out so far in his prior 2 at-bats. Outside, counts now 2-0. Two-0 pitch to Baldwin. Inside, 3-0. Bybee is back out there to at least start the bottom of the 5th. He is about to throw his 79th pitch. Strike 1. (3-1). Lined center field and playable out there, and the catch made in center field by Schneemann for out number 1. Brings up Matt Olson. Olson's 0 for 2 on the night. Despite leading 5-0, the Braves have only out-hit Cleveland 8-7. It's because of all the men that Cleveland has left on base so far in this game. That's bounced off the glove of the first baseman and into right field. Hoskins couldn't quite make the play on that one, and the ball sailed into right field. And the batter will be Austin Riley, the cleanup hitter. Giving Olson a base hit on that. Austin Riley 0 for 2. He has struck out both prior at-bats against Bibee. Fouls this one off for strike one. Oh, 1. Bounced foul, and now it's an 0-2 hole for Riley as he tries to avoid the hat trick on strikeouts. Oh, 2 pitch. That just missed. And now we're going to have our first ABS challenge from Cleveland. Called a ball. And it is a ball. Barely. By 9/10 of an inch. So Cleveland now down to 1 ABS challenge. One-two pitch, that is outside. 2-2 now. Two-two. Outside, and that will fill the count. 3-2. Here comes the payoff pitch from Bibee to Riley. On the ground and through into right center field for a base hit. Rounding second and heading to third is Olson. And it's runners at the corners with 1 out for Atlanta for Yastrzemski. And another visit on the mound. Carl Willis makes his way back out of the Cleveland dugout, the pitching coach. Yastrzemski steps up. Oh for 1. He has reached on a walk and scored one of the 5 Atlanta runs tonight. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Braves looking for some more insurance. Strike 1. Strike 1 pitch. In the air, foul, and it will now be 0-2, the count on Yastrzemski. Oh, 2. Upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes now. Yastrzemski looks in and gets set for the 1-2 pitch from Bybee. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Yastrzemski strikes out, and that is the second out of the inning, and it will bring up Ozzie Albies. Couple hits tonight for Albies. Pitch to him is a foul ball for strike 1. Albies has singled twice and scored a run. Here's the 0-1. Upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Is the count on Ozzie Albies. One. Hit up the middle and through for a base hit. And here comes the 6th Atlanta run of the game as Albies drives in a run. Riley over to third. And it is 6-0 Atlanta. Albies 3 for 3, and that will bring up Dominic Smith. 1 for 2, hit a 2-run home run last inning. And that looks like it's going to be the end of the night as the lights go out at Truist Park as Cleveland makes a pitching change. 6-0 Atlanta, runners at the corners, 2 outs. So Bybee's night is done after 4 2/3 innings. 6 runs allowed, all of them earned, 11 hits. 1 walk and 4 strikeouts, not the finest of evenings for Bybee. And he's in danger of falling to 0-2 on the year, and he is still responsible for the 2 runners on base as well. But Bybee will give way to the bullpen. Colby Allard is coming in to pitch for Cleveland. He is going to be making his 4th appearance of the year. No record, a little inflated ERA, 7.94. Walked 2, struck out 8 in 5 2/3 innings. He's given up 5 earned runs. And a strike on the first pitch from Allard. 0-1 inside, and the count's now 1-1. And we actually have a pinch hitter here for Atlanta for Smith. Kyle Farmer, pinch hitter on the season. It's his third at bat. He's 1 for 2. One for 2 on the season, I should say. 1-2. That is into left. That's a fair ball down the left field line. This will score 1 for sure. Farmer comes into second with a double, and scoring from first base is Albies. And it is all Atlanta tonight. It is 8-0 here in the fifth. And those 2 runs will also be charged to Bybee. So that will now close the book on Tanner Bybee, as Dubon will be the batter. Strike 1 here to Dubon. 8-0 Atlanta, as they have scored 3 times here in the bottom of the fifth inning to bust this thing wide open. That's fouled off the catcher's mask. Dubon is 1 for 2. RBI double back in the second and scored a run. That pitch misses to Dubon. Counts now 1-2. Beg your pardon. The count is 1-1. And they'll line it into right center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Farmer comes in to score, and the throw to second is in time to retire Dubon. That's the second time tonight he has been thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double, but that run will count as the Braves score 4 times in the fifth inning and lead it now 9-0 as we head to inning number 6. Do want to update you, steering clear of MLB for just a second, do want to update you on some NBA scores on the final day of the regular season and some coaching news from the NBA. Celtics beat the Magic 113-108. That is a final score, so that means Orlando will go into the play-in tournament. They had a chance to clinch that final guaranteed playoff spot, but they do not get it done with the loss in Boston. So Atlanta, it didn't matter what happened with Atlanta once that loss for Orlando. They clinched that final playoff spot, the 6th seed. And with that, they also got absolutely blasted in Miami. 143-117. So Atlanta and Toronto as well get those final 2 guaranteed playoff spots. 76ers and Magic drop into the play-in tournament. So that will be on Tuesday when that starts. And some coaching news from the NBA. It was a disastrous season for the Milwaukee Bucks as they end up 32-50, and that ends up costing Doc Rivers his job, as Doc Rivers is out at Milwaukee after 3 years. He's out as head coach anyway. He could stay on in a different role, But Doc Rivers out as Bucks coach after 3 years. That didn't take long because their game just ended, 30 minutes ago? So that's some NBA news for you. First pitch, top 6, is a ball to Rhys Hoskins, who is 0 for 2 tonight so far. 9-0 Atlanta here in the top of the 6th inning. And the 1-0 pitch is lifted deep into center field. Dubon goes back to the wall, and that ball is gone. Rhys Hoskins sends a home run to center field to get Cleveland on the board. And it's now 9-1. So finally, something to cheer about tonight for Cleveland as Hoskins sends a 413-foot home run over the center field wall. Manzardo, the batter, takes ball 1. That ball is popped up on the infield. Looks like Ozzie Albies under it. He is, and that's the first out. We'll bring up Brito. Brito's 0 for 2 tonight. Foul ball. A 1 is low, no swing, according to the first base umpire. 1-1 the count. Brito's grounded into a double play and struck out in his 2 prior at-bats tonight. 1-1. Inside corner for strike 2. 1-2 the count. One, two is a swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's strikeout number 6 for Sale. 2 down in the inning, and it brings up Schneemann. Schneemann is 2 for 2 so far. Sale about to throw his 95th pitch, trying to get through 6 innings here. Pitches inside to Schneemann, ball 1. Double and a single tonight for Schneemann. Strike 1 on the inside corner. 1-1 the count. One is on the ground to third, and the throw over to first in time to retire Cleveland in the top of the 6th. But they do get on the board with the solo home run by Rhys Hoskins, and it is 9-1 Atlanta as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. It'll be Mateo, then the top of the order, Acuna and Baldwin. So Chris Sale, if this is his last pitch of the night, ends up pitching 97 pitches, goes 6 innings, gives up 8 hits, just the 1 run on that solo home run. 1 walk and 6 strikeouts. So here's Mateo to lead it off here in the last of the 6th for Atlanta. Mateo has a 2-for-2 night going. First pitch, bottom 6, he swung and missed. It's 0-1. That is lined into right center field for a base hit. Mateo now 3 for 3. That is hit number 14 for Atlanta tonight. And we're back to the top of the order in Acuna. Acuna is 2 for 3. Pitch to Acuna, strike 1 on the outside corner. Strike 2, and counts now 0-2. That ball is lined into right center. This one's going to hold up, though, and be caught out there by Schneemann for the first out. And the batter now is Baldwin, the Braves catcher. Baldwin 0 for 3 tonight. Pitch to Baldwin is hit foul, left side, strike 1. A pop out, a fly out, and a line out for Baldwin tonight. Lifted foul and out of play. Baldwin's in an 0-2 hole. Oh, 2 is foul. Count will stay 0-2. Comes the 0-2 pitch. Up and in, ball 1. Ball and 2 strikes. One, 2, hit to first. They will throw to second. 1, back to first, not in time. So the fielder's choice 3-6. And it's out number 2. Man, that pitch misses up and in. Ball one to Matt Olson. One zero is low. It's 2-0. That is on the ground to second. Throw to first in time to retire Olson and to retire the Braves in the sixth. On we go to the seventh. All Atlanta tonight, 9-1 over Cleveland. Again, tentative plan tomorrow, if all goes well. Back and forth, another MLB live stream for you tomorrow night. Cubs and Phillies from Philadelphia. 6:40 first pitch Eastern time. Beyond 7 to 10 minutes prior. Get you set for the Cubs and Phillies game one of that series from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Also plan on being with you for game two of that series as well on Tuesday. So plan on having the first two games of that Cubs-Phillies series for you. Have a couple more MLB live streams for you this week, and then we'll once again attempt a college baseball live stream later in the week. Don't know what game or anything yet, but we'll let you know that as the week gets closer, the weekend gets closer. Definitely am planning on the live stream to cover some of the NCAA softball and baseball regionals this year. So here we go here, top seven. Sale is done after 6 innings, and he will give way to the bullpen now. And coming in to pitch for Atlanta, Dylan Dodd. And on the second pitch, he throws. It's a chopper to short, and the throw to first in time for out number one. Back to the top of the order, Angel Martinez. 0 for 3 tonight. Dodd's pitch to Martinez is a strike. A line out, a pop out, and a fly out for Martinez tonight. Strike two. Counts now 0-2 on Martinez. Oh, 2 pitch. Nice play by the second baseman and the throw to first in time for out number two. Albies had to go to his left there, made a made a fine defensive play. So 2 outs very quickly here in the 7th, and the batter, it's going to be a pinch hitter, actually, for Cleveland. It looks like it's going to be Bo Naylor coming in to pinch hit. Naylor just hitting 4 for 32 this year, 125 average. Takes ball 1. Naylor hitting for DeLauder. DeLauder getting the rest of the night off. Naylor fouls it back. That'll leave him to count a ball and a strike. Well, it's good to see Major League Baseball back on the Peacock Network. They took over the Sunday night package this year. Been 20 plus years since NBC's had Major League Baseball. Remember growing up the days of the Saturday game of the week, Vince Scully, Joe Garagiola. His 2-2 pitch is foul. I am going to be with you on the live stream for not all the Sunday night games this year, but a lot of them. I believe Braves Phillies is next week, so plan on being on that one. 2-2 pitch. That is in the air, right center field. And the catch made out there in right center. And Dodd's first appearance of the year on the mound is a 1-2-3 7th inning. Stretch time in Atlanta. All Braves tonight, 9-1 over Cleveland. Braves will have the middle third of the order. Austin Riley, Mike Yastrzemski, and Ozzie Albies in the bottom of the 7th inning. Again, the Braves after this will stay at home to begin a series with the Marlins. Marlins right behind the Braves in the NL East standings. Braves a 1.5 game lead over the Marlins coming into this game tonight. Marlins fell earlier today to Detroit. Cleveland will hit the road following this game to start a series in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Cardinals fell earlier today at home to the Red Sox. And Cleveland in danger of losing 2 out of 3 in this series to the Braves. And seeing their lead in the AL Central diminish, they will be, assuming they don't come back here, they will now be in a tie for first place in the AL Central with Minnesota. Tigers struggling a bit as well to start this year. Of course, remember Cleveland. I mentioned it before in this game. Remember Cleveland made that huge comeback in the AL Central last year down. What were they down? We're down 11 games back at the beginning of September, I think, last year, and came all the way back just to get eliminated in the postseason by their division rivals, Tigers. So a little bit of sour taste in their mouth that Cleveland, the way last year ended. They want to take it a little bit further this year. And Atlanta coming off an awful 2025 season, off to a much better start this year. And the Braves are 6 outs away from winning 2 out of 3 against Cleveland in this series. As Austin Riley will lead it off here in the bottom of the 7th for Atlanta. Riley's 1 for 3 in the game. Single and a run scored. 9 runs, 14 hits for the Braves. 1 run, 8 hits, and 1 error for Cleveland. Allard back out once again for Cleveland on the mound. So the first 2.5 weeks of the season, things are kind of topsy-turvy right now from what we thought we would see. You've got Cleveland and Minnesota tied for first in the AL Central. You got the Pirates on top in the NL Central right now. Both New York teams struggling a little bit. Milwaukee on a 5-game losing streak, and they've also lost Christian Yelich, it appears, with the hamstring injury today he suffered in the loss to Washington. Braves mascot Blooper entertaining the fans. Here's the pitch to Riley, strike 1. Riley's 1 hit in this game was a single back in the 5th inning. Swings and misses here. It's an 0-2 count now on Austin Riley. (0-2) pitch is on the ground to short. And the throw in time to first base to retire Austin Riley. And there's the first out in the bottom of the 7th. Brings up Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski's 0 for 2. Hath hits the inside corner for strike 1. Strike 1 pitch. That's hit foul. And it's quickly 0-2 on Yastrzemski. Here comes the 0-2. That's through into right field past the first baseman. That is hit number 15 for the Braves tonight. And the batter will be Ozzie Albies. A perfect night going at the plate for Albies. 3 for 3. Singled 3 times. Scored twice and drove in a run. Ball 1. Albies bounces it to third. The throw to second. 1 on to first, not in time. Albies too fast to turn a double play there. 2 down in the inning. And Farmer will be the batter. Strike 1. A 1 pitch misses. 1-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. 1-2. One-two pitch to Farmer. Bounce to short. The throw to first. And pulls the first baseman off the bag, but gets the tag down to end the inning. Braves retired in the 7th. On to the 8th we go in Atlanta, 9-1 Braves. So again, steering clear from Major League Baseball for just a second. Going back to the NBA real quick, here are the final stands. Everything is now set. As far as playoffs and everything, in the East, Detroit's the number 1 seed. They end up with 60 wins this year as the Pistons got the win over the Pacers tonight in the season finale. Detroit, your number 1 seed in the East. Boston, the 2. New York, the 3. Cleveland, the 4. Toronto, the 5. And Atlanta, the 6. Toronto and Atlanta got the final 2 guaranteed playoff spots. Orlando and Philadelphia will meet on Tuesday in the play-in tournament. Winner of that game is the 7th seed and will take on Boston in round 1. On Wednesday in the play-in tournament, Miami will be at Charlotte. Loser of that game, their season is done. The winner of that game will take on the loser of the Orlando-Philadelphia game on Friday to see who will be the 8th seed. Not a big fan of this play-in tournament, but that's where we're at in the NBA. I mean, they opened up this to get a few extra games to give the 9th and 10th place teams a chance. But, you had 82 games in the season to qualify for the playoffs. And if you couldn't be in the top 8 in 82 games, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. So I'm not a big fan of this play-in tournament, but that's where it is. In the West, Oklahoma City, the overall best record in the league this year, 64-17. They're in progress right now. San Antonio will be the 2. Nuggets and Lakers still up for grabs for the 3 and 4 seeds. Houston's also in play for the 4 seed. Minnesota is the 6th seed. That is the final guaranteed spot. Also on Tuesday, Portland, Phoenix in the play-in tournament. And then Golden State and the Clippers coming up on Wednesday. And again, if you missed the coaching news out of the NBA, Doc Rivers out as coach of the Bucks after 3 years. It was a bad season up there in Milwaukee this year, and that ends up costing Doc Rivers. Back here, 9-1 Atlanta. It's ball 1 to Jose Ramirez. Singled back in the first inning. 1 for 3 officially tonight. 1-0 pitch is outside. It's 2-0. Pitch. That is ripped into left field, and a running catch out there in left field by Yastrzemski for the first out. That's a nice grab out there by Yastrzemski. And it will bring up Fry. Catcher tonight for Cleveland. He's 1 for 3. Ball 1 inside to Fry. Fry 1 for 3 tonight. He singled back in the 3rd. And that pitch misses high. It's 2-0. Pitch. Right down the middle for strike 1. 2-1 pitch is foul. That'll even the count 2-2. Two-two pitch called. Strike 3. Two down in the inning, and it will bring up Rhys Hoskins, who is responsible for the only run tonight for Cleveland, a solo home run back in the 6th inning. Ball 1 inside to Rhys Hoskins. One-zero pitch fouled back. That'll even the count, a ball and a strike. One-one hit to third. And the throw to first in time. And that will do it for Cleveland in the 8th inning. And Dylan Dodd's first 2 innings pitched this year, 1, 2, 3 innings. We head to the bottom of the 8th. It's 9-1 Atlanta. So a good first 2 innings of the season for Dylan Dodd. So on we go here to the bottom of the 8th inning. Braves leading 9-1. They've out-hit Cleveland 15-8. First pitch, bottom 6, ball, or bottom 8, ball 1. To Dubon, who is 2 for 3 tonight. And pops this one sky high, foul territory, and not playable as it hits the top of the dugout. 1-1. Schneemann made an effort for it, but not quite in play there. A lot of defensive substitutions for Cleveland. We'll tell you about those here momentarily as the 1-1 pitch is fouled back. C.J. Kafis comes in the game to play left field. He will go in Manny Ramirez or Manny Ramirez. Jose Ramirez spot in the batting order. Schneemann moves to third base from center field. That's lined into left center for a base hit. Angel Martinez moves from left field to center field. And then Naylor, who came in to pinch hit, stays in the game as the catcher. And one more substitution. Fry, who has been catching, moves into right field. So a lot of defensive changes for Cleveland as Mateo takes a strike. Mateo, a perfect 3-for-3 evening with 3 singles, scored a run and drove in a run. And he fouls this one off, and he's down in the count now 0-2. Oh, 2 is foul. Count stays 0-2. It's 0-2. Lined into left. That's a base hit. First 2 on for the Braves here in the bottom of the 8th, and we're back to the top of the order in Acuna. Acuna 2 for 4. Braves a new season high with their 17 hits in this game. Pitch to Acuna is inside. Oh, but the first base umpire says he swung. It's 0-1 on Acuna. Oh, 1 pitch. There's a strike down the middle. 0-2 now the count on Acuna. Acuna takes high on the 0-2 pitch. Counts now 1-2. One, 2. Hit foul. Acuna stays alive. 1-2. One, 2 pitch. Foul back. Excuse me. Allard's 1-2 pitch to Acuna. Oh, hit him. That got away from Allard and hit Acuna. And that's going to load the bases with nobody out. Batter will be Baldwin with the bases loaded and nobody out for Atlanta. Excuse me. Baldwin 0 for 4 tonight. Fouls it off for strike 1. Baldwin hits it foul. Baldwin's now in an 0-2 hole. 0-2 is fouled off third base side. Count stays 0-2. Nice stop back there behind the plate by Naylor on a pitch that was low. 1-2. Dubon, the runner at third. Mateo at second. Acuna at first. One-two pitch. On the ground to short. They will go to second, one on to first, safe there, and a run scores on the RBI fielder's choice. And the Braves have now double digits tonight as it's 10-1. And runners at the corners with one out. And it brings up Matt Olson. Olson is 1 for 4. Second time this series, the Braves have put up double digits. They scored 11 in the Friday win in this series. 2-0 pitch. Strike one. 2-1 now, the count on Olson. Olson in the air to right and barely moving out there in right field is the right fielder. It's off the top of the wall. One run scores. Olson comes into second. It's an RBI double for Matt Olson, and it's 11-1 Braves. Acuna advanced to third. And the batter will be Austin Riley. Boy, Fry didn't even attempt to catch that ball. He was just knowing he was going to have to play that off the wall. Austin Riley steps up with runners at second and third and one out. Ball one. Riley singled back in the fifth and scored a run. 1-0 pitch is a strike. Evens the count 1-1. 1-1 is foul. Now 1-2 on Austin Riley. One of those games that Cleveland is just going to want to tear up the tape on and move on. Two-two pitch ripped into left. That's a fair ball. This is going to score two more. Acuna scores. Olson scores. Two-run double for Austin Riley. It's 13-1. Second four-run inning of the night for Atlanta. And Atlanta now with 19 hits. That is the new high for a team this season. And Yastrzemski is the batter. And Yastrzemski takes ball one. Yastrzemski's 1 for 3, singled, scored a run, and he's also reached on a walk. Strike. Counts even, 1-1. Allard's thrown 63 pitches in relief. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2 on Yastrzemski. One, two is a swing and a miss for strike three. Two down in the inning, and it will bring up a pinch hitter for Atlanta. For Albies. Luke Williams is the pinch hitter, getting his first at bat of the year. And he's now ahead of the count 3-0. Pitch, and that's a 4-pitch walk. On Williams' first at bat of the year, that's going to do it for Allard. So Allard throws 69 pitches in relief and is going to be pulled here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th in a 13-1 game. Stephen Vogt, I think the Cleveland manager, was hoping not to go too deep in his bullpen in a lopsided game that it is. But Allard's pitch count was getting too far up there. He had to make a change. Third pitcher of the night for Cleveland coming into the game, and it's going to be... Who is it going to be? It's going to be... Hedges coming into pitch. Austin Hedges, a normal Cleveland catcher, so a position player is coming in to pitch here for Cleveland in a 13-1 ball game. Just needing to get 1 out, so technically Vogt is not going into his bullpen as he's bringing on a position player here. So Hedges' first pitch is ball 1 as he faces Farmer as the Braves have batted around here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Farmer fouls it off. Counts 1-2. And Hedges 1-2 pitch is ripped into left field, and it's going to be a running catch out there. So Hedges gets the final out here in the bottom of the 8th. Braves score 4 times. We head to the 9th. 13-1 Atlanta. Braves 3 outs away from their 10th victory of the season. The Braves are going to reach the 10-win mark about 3 weeks earlier than they did last season after getting these last 3 outs of this game. As Dodd is going to be asked to get the final 3 outs here in his first pitching performance of the year. He's pitched back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. As Manzardo will lead off the top of the 9th. Manzardo is 1 for 3 tonight. 19 hits for the Braves, a new season high for any team in baseball this year. They've out-hit Cleveland 19-8. First pitch, top of the 9th, strike 1 to Manzardo. Manzardo grounds it to first, and the underhand throw to Dodd covering. 1 down here in the 9th. So this is the first Sunday night game on NBC under their new Sunday Night Baseball contract. It's a shame that it ended up in a dud here. Brito, the batter, and takes a strike. Strike 1 pitch is hit foul. Brito's in an 0-2 hole. I'm going to do a quick sign-off here tonight, run down the final stats on this one, and sign off pretty quick here. 0-2 is high, 1-2. One-two pitch. Swing and a miss, and now Cleveland is down to their final out in this one. And Schneemann will step up, try to keep this game alive for Cleveland. Schneemann is 2 for 3. Pitch to him's outside, ball 1. 1-0 pitch is lifted in the air to right. And back to the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Schneemann coming into second and will pull up there with a 2-out double. That is Schneemann's third hit of the night. And keeps this game alive. Acuna made a stab at that, just missed it. Brian Rocchio will step up. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Pitch to Rocchio, swing and a miss, strike one. First hit allowed by Dodd in this game. Pitch misses down low. That'll even the count, a ball and a strike. So Dodd about to throw his 33rd pitch in relief. That's in the air to center. And the catch made, and that is a wrap on a big 13-1 win for Atlanta tonight, and they take the series against Cleveland 2 out of 3. Braves now 10-6 overall. They have a 2-game lead in the NL East over the Marlins. And the Marlins and Braves will begin a series tomorrow in Atlanta. Cleveland falls to 9-7, and Cleveland falls into a first-place tie in the AL Central with the Minnesota Twins. 13 runs, 19 hits, no errors for the Braves. They left 6 on base. 1 run, 9 hits, 1 error for Cleveland. They left 8 on base. Chris Sale picks up the win. He is now 3-1 on the year. And despite a 13-1 game, Dodd went 3 innings, so that does qualify as a save for Dodd in his first appearance of the year. Tanner Bybee took the loss. He is now 0-2. In a game that took 2 hours and 46 minutes and a Truist Park crowd tonight of 29,084. Watch the Braves get a 13-1 win over Cleveland. Take 2 out of 3 in the series. Braves now getting set for a series with their division rival Marlins. Cleveland will head to St. Louis to start a series against the Cardinals starting tomorrow night. Folks, going to wrap it up here pretty quick. Again, my name is John, Sports Bonanza John on YouTube. If you like my content, really would appreciate a like and subscribe. Also on Twitch tonight at Sport Guru John. Also have some content on Kick at Sports Kick John. You can follow me there as well. Again, tentative plan tomorrow night. Back with you for an MLB live stream. Cubs and Phillies, first of 3 from Philadelphia. Be on around 6:30, 6:35 with the first pitch scheduled for 6:40. Plan on doing the Tuesday game in that series as well between the Cubs and the Phillies. Braves win it tonight, 13-1 over Cleveland. Take 2 out of 3 in this series and have a 2-game lead with their division rival Marlins coming in town tomorrow night. That's going to do it. Hope to talk to you. Hope to see you tomorrow. Hopefully you can join me for that Cubs-Phillies matchup tomorrow night, first of 3 in that series. Thanks for joining, everybody, and talk to you tomorrow. Good night. God bless.